Hello, welcome back to the creek. I'm inside our little office space that we used to use a lot, but haven't really used since March because of that whole coronavirus thing. But I am so cold. So I had to come in here, and I'm shooting the video in here because I can't feel my feet, and I was afraid I was going to fall over. So there you go. When I warm up, maybe I'll go back out into the main area of the gym. But if you're wondering why we're keeping the doors open, it's because it's good for airflow, and then it's not quite so stagnant in there. I have no idea if that's actually a true statement. I'll ask the infectious disease expert at some other point. But anyway, there you go. I'm cold, I'm inside, but really, I'm in front of the sign that says, be consistent. And that was really on purpose. So what are we gonna talk about today? So today we've got back squats and rowing. But more importantly, we talked about squats a couple episodes ago. More importantly, what I wanted to talk about is, as coaches, we often use language and words that we call cues to try to get athletes to do certain things with their body. Now, the sequence of how a cue gets set up, it starts in the warm-up. It then is reiterated in the skill work. It is then usually trimmed down as the skill work progresses into practice rounds or building loads or working a bit faster through a movement. And then finally, during the workout, that cue has been trimmed down to the most efficient use of language, both verbal and non-verbal language, to get the athlete to do or move the way they're supposed to move so that they are mechanically safe, consistently doing those mechanics, and then moving in intensity. And I'll give you an example. Butt back on the back squat. So that is usually one of the number one cues that we send, because as we talked about in the squat, it is what activates that posterior chain. It's what keeps the neutral spine. It's how the movement is supposed to initiate. It's what you can say when somebody's depth isn't quite there, right? Butt back gets an arch. It puts you in your heels. Oftentimes they have to drive their knees out. But even as I say that, I'm adding more cues. So if I say to you, move your butt back, a lot of people don't really know what that means initially. So what I can do is I can visually point to my butt and say, when you start your squat, you send your knees forward. And I want you to send your butt back. And as you see, as I send my butt back, my knees automatically start to drive out. Sorry, I'll get a slightly better shot there. There you go. So as I send my butt back, in order for that butt to keep going back, I have to drive those knees out. I've got to arch my chest if I want to keep my chest up, right? So that butt back cue is pretty good. Let's say you just aren't getting it. Well, I could come over and I could grab somebody's jacket or shirt and I could physically, pull your butt back. I could give you a target. I say, I want you to send your butt back. Don't move anything. Send your butt back until you hit my hand. Awesome. Now go ahead and squat down or drive those knees out. So I've got a visual cue. I've got a tactile cue. And then I've got a audible or oral cue that I could tell you during the workout. So in the middle of the workout, right? You're moving at load. Here we are. We're doing our squats, and I'm driving those knees forward, and I'm not getting depth. Well, I could yell at you, Jack, butt back, Jack, butt down, right? I'm giving you an audible and a visual. Jack, you're here. I want you here, buddy. Here we go. I'm probably not gonna give you a tactile because you're in the middle of the workout. I'm probably not gonna touch you much. But really what I wanna do is I want you to get that cue. So I've set it up along the sequence of the workout, along the sequence of the class. And maybe it's even to the point where I can just be like, yo, and right, and you get your butt back. That's the great spot. Let's say you're a new athlete. Let's say you're an athlete who's been doing this for 5, 6, 7 years. And I give you a cue and you have no idea what I'm talking about. Say, hey, Jack, I have no idea what you're talking about. What do you mean? Without that feedback, we as the coaches have no idea if that cue is landing or not. We just know you're not moving. the way we want you to move. And so maybe we'll try another cue. Maybe you just didn't hear us. Maybe you just didn't understand it. But that collaborative feedback between the athlete and the coach is what makes language work. Communication, consistently understanding what we are talking about from both sides is how we will continue to move that ball forward and keep getting better. All right, cool. See you on the creek.